Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session on Python programming. We're discussing iterative constructs in Python. What we had seen earlier was a concept of while loop, and we had taken some examples on while loop as well. But one statement that we had looked at was a statement called as pass. We just had a passing reference to that statement called as pass, but we did not look at the so-called application where we can actually go ahead using the statement called as pass. But like pass, there are other statements also which can be used only with loops. So what are those additional statements? We normally call them as jump statements that can be used with loops is what we'll be discussing today. And once you are finished with that, then we'll go ahead with other kind of loops that we have to look into. So to begin with today, we are going to loop at two very important statements. I'll just have a passing reference to this concept of pass statement once again. And then we will go ahead, because I can define a loop and I can just say pass inside it. That means it would now become an infinite loop if need be, provided the condition never becomes false. So let's have a passing reference to pass. Let's run that particular code and see. Let's run the code and see, and then we'll proceed further. So let's have a look at pass. Last time when we had seen this statement pass, that was in if construct. And in if we said, if the construct demands that there has to be a statement, and if you do not plan to write a statement, in that case, you could say pass. So if the condition is true, you don't want to do anything, you could very well say pass. Else you want to do something. So you could write the state code in else block if you really want to. So similar kind of way, the pass statement can also be used in loops. So this pass statement actually stands for do nothing. It's a placeholder, statement placeholder. That means wherever the syntax demands that there has to be a statement, and for some reason you cannot give a statement, in that case, you could give pass. So pass is a empty statement placeholder. It will just act as a filler at that place where a statement is required. It can be used when the statement is required syntactically, but the program requires no action. That means the syntax of that construct says there has to be a statement. And logically, you do not want to do anything over there. So in that case, you could just say pass. You could say while true, and you could say just say pass. Now, I would not suggest you to write this, but this is sometimes interesting. Let's run the code to understand how does this particular pass statement work. You could also use a pass statement in functions, in classes, where I define a function that does nothing, where I define a class that doesn't do anything. Just an empty class or empty function, there also we could use this statement called as pass. But that was just a passing reference. Let's look at a statement where we'll use a pass. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a small statement. Let's see if I have a already existing statement for pass. Looks like I don't have. So we'll write one. But why? Let's write. I'll call this as while pass. It could be used with any kind of loop. I'll call it as while pass. And we read the same example that we had talked about. I'll just say while. Okay. I'm just going to say true. I'm going to say pass. Now this could be at times be handy, but to really understand the significance of it, I want some process to run continuously forever. So I'm saying while true is true will never become false. And inside the body, you're not going to do anything. So it is like a process that will just keep on running indefinitely. The only way to terminate that would be by saying Control C. Let's start with the command prompt and we'll jump into that folder. I hope the command prompt is visible.
Yes.
Let's run the code. So I'll say Python. The program name is while pass.py. So the program has got hanged. There is nothing it has to do. Now you press enter, you press anything, nothing is going to happen. You press any key, nothing is going to happen. I'm pressing some keys. Hopefully you can hear. I'm pressing some keys, nothing is happening. I press space, enter, nothing. So if you want a blocking program, something that will block the current operation, you can just say while pass. Have a look at the statements that we have written. So we can see in the background there is this function, the code that we have written. For some reason, I cannot resize the screen. Strange. Oh yeah. Okay, while true pass. The only way to terminate this is by saying Control C. So when I say Control C, it's a keyboard interrupt that will interrupt that particular program, and we have come out. And then all the keys that I had pressed, they are all in the buffer. So I'll tell you more about the buffer later. So these were all the keys that I had pressed in between. So they have appeared later after the program has terminated, after the keyboard interrupt. Let's run the code once again. And this time around, I'll not press that many number of keys. Huh? So you shouldn't get confused. Ye kahan se aa raha hai. That was all in the buffer. Here I go. We run the program once again. Here you go. The program has got, I'll say, indefinite loop. It will never terminate. And it is not doing anything throughout the time. I just say Control C, the program has got terminated. So keyboard interrupt. Now you may say, sir, why would I write such a program? Don't worry. Over a period, we can introduce this and make it a part of a program. Here it has failed. It has thrown an error saying keyboard interrupt. Later we can catch that interrupt and we can proceed with the program. So someplace in the program, you just want to wait for some long time till the time user doesn't cancel that. So we can do this. So when the program user cancels it, saying Control C, terminates, then the program can continue. It need not be the case that the program stops the way it has stopped right now. Koi zaruri nahi hai. But for that, we need to know exception handling. I have been mentioning this word exception. So once we learn how to handle this interrupt, we can catch and we can continue with the program as well, with the rest of the operations that we can do. But what if I did not write pass? It will generate an error. The website is saying while true and no statement, it is generating an error. It will not even get executed. It is generating an error. Now this, it says expected indented block after while. That means the syntax expects us to have a statement and we cannot write a statement. In such cases, we say pass. So when the syntax demands that there has to be a statement, and for some reason we cannot give a statement, in such cases, this will act as a placeholder. That means it will be a replacement for those logical instructions that you could have written inside that loop or inside that construct. It could be if construct, it can be loop, it can be any construct. A pass is available everywhere. Wherever the syntax demands that there has to be a statement, but you do not want to do anything, in that case, we can always say pass. So have you understood this concept of pass? Quick feedback. Rahul, Sairam, Vikrant, every turn on your cameras. Yusha, Rahul Jha.
Sir, my network slow
Yes,
yaar.
sir.
Okay. Rahul Jha.
Yes, sir.
Turn on the camera. Okay. So we have seen a statement called as pass. Now, what's the next statement that we're going to look at? The other statement that we're going to look at, last time we saw the else part of the loop as well. Huh?
Sir,
Yes, please.
but what's the purpose and use of pass statement? If we are not providing any logical or anything there, then why to write that loop as well?
Okay. No, I'm not talking about loop. It could be anywhere. Let's talk about loop. Let's talk about loop. Now tell me, how do you write a loop which will just get executed till the time user doesn't cancel that operation? Infinite loop, if I write, is there a way to terminate an infinite loop?
No.
No. So
Other than break.
Other than break. So that's the next statement. But then that is programmatically. That means for that break condition to become true, you'll have to provide some condition. When that condition is met, it will automatically become terminate the loop.
Not compulsory. No? Means in while one, if you write direct break, then
it will run only once. It will not run infinitely.
Yes.
But I want to write a loop which will run several times, and it's for the user to decide when to terminate the loop. Now tell me, how will you do?
Okay.
Correct. So we will not have this support in other languages. Think about C language. How could you write a loop where the interrupt will decide? It will be difficult for us to do that.
Yes.
Any place where a statement is required syntactically, compulsory, and you do not want to write a statement, in such cases, we could say pass. Sometimes, if it so happens, sometimes people do not understand single alternative. They feel like with if, there should always be an else. Correct?
Yes.
So how do you satisfy that requirement? Because if I write else, suppose let me comment this thing out right now. And suppose I have to give you concession if you're a senior citizen. So I could have just said age is equal to I'm not doing any validation for a moment. Just the basic idea. And there is some 50% discount in this is what we have to give. So I'll just say it's a final variable of type integer. And now if I write a statement, if and I want to calculate some discount, I mean discount age, and so we'll have to frame a question. Huh? So it's like calculate the total fares. Or I'll say how many kilometers you would like to travel. So 50% commission concession during travel. Huh? So you suppose charge per kilometer is equal to float. Currently it is suppose float भी नहीं दे पाएंगे, decimal लेना पड़ेगा. So let me first tell you the problem statement, what you're trying to write. We'll say over here, I'm just framing a question. Anybody more than 76, 60 years, equal to 60 years is identified as a senior citizen. And charge per kilometer ₹2.50. These are charges per kilometer. This is the kind of question that we have. Okay, so we want to calculate charge per kilometer, and then we would like to give a concession. And then the total fares. Suppose if I now say, what's the age in years? That's what I have asked. And what distance you would like to travel? What distance do you plan to travel? So I just say travel. we'll say what's the age of the passenger in years. They will just slightly change because now we have a problem statement with us. So distance traveled is so and so, float we calculate the distance, and now charges. So it is like your distance traveled into your charge per kilometer. But distance traveled is a value of type float, and float and decimal cannot be multiplied. So we'll have to convert this thing into a decimal. I may not even take this as float. I don't have, I can just take it as a string. Anyway, I'm going to convert it into a float over here, a decimal over here. Or I could say decimal over here itself. I hope you're understanding why I'm doing that, because float and this cannot be multiplied. Float and decimal, it will generate an error. So here we got the total charges. So here I'm going to check if age greater than or equal to minimum age for senior citizen. If that is the case, then I like to give him 50% discount. Correct. So I'll say total charge is equal to total charge into discount rate. Suppose I'll say over here rate decimal of 5.0. So that's not a discount rate. I'll just multiply it by discount rate. Now, in such cases, we really do not want to do anything in the else part. But somebody is like, if hai to else chahiye, if that is the case. So if I just keep it like this, it will generate an error. You can see on the left-hand side, there is a cross mark that you get to see. Because if I write else, there has to be a statement. I could really say pass. So there is no confusion. There are no discounts. Otherwise, the total charge has already been calculated. So it's just a way where the statement demand that there has to be an instruction that has to be written. So else, if I write else, there has to be a statement, and you do not want to give a statement. In all such cases, if you'd like to create a block, you're going to use a construct, but you do not want to do anything. If that part statement gets executed, you can just say pass. Like I said in this example as well, I want to write a function that doesn't do anything. I can just say pass. I want to create a type that doesn't do anything. I can just say pass. So this could act like more like a placeholders for me, more like something for testing purpose that I would like to have. So let's run this particular code and see the total. Yes.
Sir? So the Python has this kind of restriction of writing statement in else part as well. So
No. It doesn't have such restriction. I said if a user is so very used to it, with every if there has to be an else. Python में else कोई compulsory नहीं है.
नहीं else लिखा है उसने, ठीक है, but else में कुछ statement चाहिए. ये compulsion सिर्फ Python में है ना?
No, all languages. Even in C, if I write else and I don't write a statement after it, it's not right. You just at least have to put a semicolon.
Okay.
We at least put a semicolon. Say semicolon saying empty block.
End of the
empty block.
Yes, empty block.
So if we put a semicolon. So instead of semicolon, here we say pass. So the citizen is 40 years old. Distance is traveling 100 kilometers. So he has to pay 200 rupees. For how much? 200. 100 kitna travel kar raha hai? 100 kilometers at the rate of what? 2 rupees per kilometer. But if the same distance of 100 kilometers is traveled by a senior citizen, then in that case, senior citizen hai, he is also traveling, age of the citizen is suppose 70 years. He is also traveling 100 kilometers, but he's just paying 100 rupees, 50% discount. The point is, in the else, I did not have to do anything. कोई discount calculate नहीं करना था. तो else तो लिखा है, तो pass चाहिए. There has to be a statement, but I don't want to do anything. So when you come across a scenario where there is a construct, but you do not want to do anything at that place, you could just say pass. it may not be of much use while saying if else, yeah, while saying loop, but the kind of loop that I demonstrated over here, this actually makes sense. So it's like waiting indefinitely without doing anything. It's just like without any cost, because when I say pass, it's not even some action of printing or something or doing some calculation. It's just like waiting indefinitely. So I want to construct a code where that particular, and the best part is when I teach you threading, I can run it on a separate thread and just make it run indefinitely till the time I do not, I click on some button saying cancel that particular operation and so on. So that can also be done. And here we have taken a statement where we have used this pass statement over here. Likewise, here we have not yet seen functions, but I could very well define a function that doesn't do anything. I can create a new data type that doesn't store anything. So in such case, if I want to create an empty class, as we normally call it, or empty function, there also we can use the statement called as pass. Is that okay, Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Others,
Yes, sir.
others, quick feedback.
Yes, sir.
किसी को कोई query, any question? The point is, nothing will happen when the pass statement gets executed. Okay, it is just a placeholder. Placeholder for what? Placeholder for a syntax construct where there should have been a statement and you do not want to write any statement. You don't want to do anything. In such cases, we could always say pass. Okay. Okay. All agree to it. Let's move further. Now that we saw one particular statement, let's go in for another statement. I'm going to introduce you to 3 statements today. The first one was pass. Now the next one is what Sairam just now mentioned a minute back. We had last time seen the else part. While else we have already seen, na? While else. Yes or no? Quick feedback.
Yes, sir.
When this else gets executed in while loop?
लास्ट लेक्चरला वाइल स्टेटमेंट घेतले होता.
No, I had also taken else part. While के साथ else. My question is, when does the else statement get executed with while loop?
जब सर कंप्लीटली एग्जीक्यूट हो जाए लूप.
Completely मतलब
सक्सेसफुल.
successful मतलब normal termination of program है.
Hello.
What is normal termination of program? Normal termination of the loop. Yes, Kostu, we can hear you.
Means looping condition false.
When the looping condition becomes false, that is a normal termination. So that was the else part of the while loop. So not many languages you will see else in the loop. Why Python is the only place where we have else in the loop, and that's present for all the kind of loops that are present in Python. So that we had already seen. So let's jump on to the other jump statement, that is break. And we'll try and understand with help of example. Rather, one of the assignment that I had given to you, there also we could use this break. Now, what is this break statement? It says the loop else clause, this we have already seen, break. It says break statement is used to break out of the loop statement. So it will terminate the loop, not the program. Keep in mind, it will terminate the loop, not the program. Stop the execution of the looping statement. So it is the construct that can be used only with loops. It will stop the execution of the loop, not the program. And when we will stop, even if the looping condition has not become false. The normal termination of the program was when the looping condition becomes false. So the break will be used to terminate the loop, even when the looping condition has not become false. So even if the loop condition has not become false, or the sequence of items has not been completely iterated over. So loops in Python can be used for 2 cases. One is like you give a condition till the time the condition doesn't become false, it will keep on iterating. Or you have a statement like for loop, and you give a collection of data to it. It will cycle through all the elements. And once it has finished visiting all the elements in that collection, it will terminate automatically. It's an automatic loop. So let's keep that for loop statement aside to understand this. The last part of the sequence of items has not been completely iterated over. Let's keep this statement pending. But let's understand the other parts. So this can be used to terminate the loop. It is not meant for terminating the program. It is meant for terminating the loop. So when a particular condition arises and you want to say that when this happens, I do not want to continue with the execution of the loop anymore. In that case, we can use break. And it's important to note that if you break out of the while or for loop, the corresponding loop's else statement is not executed. This is abnormal termination, not normal termination. So if you terminate the loop by using break, else will not get executed. Till now, the else for while loop was always executed because you are terminating the program only the loop only when the looping condition became false. Here, that's not the case. If the loop is terminated by using break statement, the else statement will be skipped for the loop. Break statements can appear anywhere inside the while loop or for loop's body, but they are usually coded further in the if stage to act as a response to some condition. So what Saira was saying, I'll say while and break. That is something that we'll never do. Because I'll say while and break. So you go inside the loop and you terminate the loop. So that loop will not get executed. So what we normally do, the basic design says inside the loop, you'll have an if condition. That if condition will decide when to terminate this loop. If this condition is met, or if this situation arises, then I would like to stop executing the loop. So always in all the programming language, whenever and wherever you use break in looping constructs, this break statement is present in all languages, C, C++, Java, Python, JavaScript, everywhere. So wherever you use this break inside the loop, it should always be put inside an if construct, which will appear inside the loop. So within a loop, we'll have if construct, and that if construct will decide when to terminate the loop. So when that condition becomes false, we'll terminate the loop. So this is the design that we use. While whatever here you may have any condition, I have said infinite loop, and if exit test, so I'll have some condition over here. So when that condition is satisfied, only then the statement will get terminated, loop will get terminated. So we will have this condition over here. So this condition is the one that will decide when to terminate the loop. So that's my statement deciding when the loop should terminate or break, abnormally terminate. And this was my regular termination of the loop. And I'll show you some examples which will help you understand this break. So we'll have while test expression, some code before that, some code after that, and if condition. When this condition is arrived at, the loop will terminate. That will take the control out of the loop. So let's take some examples. Before I give an example to help you understand how and where to use this, any questions? कुछ पूछना है, कुछ कमेंट करना है?
No.
सर
बोलो.
अगर नेस्टेड लूप हुआ तो जिस लूप के अंदर ब्रेक है वही ब्रेक होगा या वो पूरा
Very correct. That's a good guess. Break terminates the loop in which that statement has been written. So you may have 4 levels of nesting, 5 levels of nesting, whatever may be the nesting that you may have. But जिस लूप के अंदर वो ब्रेक आएगा उसी को ब्रेक करेगा, टर्मिनेट करेगा. It will not come through all the loops. But there is a mechanism in Python where I can jump out of all the loops. ऐसा भी कोई construct है, but this will terminate only the loop in which it has been found. Monica, what's the problem?
No, sir, you have asked me. Anybody has any query? That's
Okay.
why I respond.
Okay. So let's look at an example where we'll use a break statement. Let's take a scenario, and the scenario could be as simple as this. Okay, so last time we had taken one example, the similar kind of example I'll take. We're going to accept 2 numbers from the user and display the addition, and we would like to continue the program till the time user wishes. So there are multiple ways in which we could do that. And this example does not really tell you the right use case for loops. I'll come to the right use case in the next example, but just I want to show you how it can be done. I just want to show you how it can be, and just understand the syntax. This is definitely not the use case. So don't come down saying, sir, ऐसा भी क्या जरूरी है? हमने तो last time वो बिना इसके solve किया था. I understand. First understand the syntax, and then I'll show you the use case. पहला syntax समझो, फिर use case समझिए. Here we go. So have a look at the problem statement. It says accept two integers and display their addition. That we have already done last time. We have solved this kind of question last time. Their addition. Continue till the user wishes. जब तक user चाहता है. So we have taken one variable wish whose value is y. We say wish dot upper in yes or yes. Last time हमने true, false, yes, no सब कुछ लिया था. We are using membership test. So whatever input that you are given or what is the value of this wish, उसका upper case either y yes है या y है. अगर है तो we accept two integers. We print their addition and then we ask user, do you want to continue? Yes, no. अगर दोबारा we'll come back over here. So I'm going to debug this code so that you understand how it is work is happening. Because we have the debugger now, ना? तो हम लोग debug करेंगे. So we are at line number 15. We started the code. We jump to line number 15. The condition is true. We have ensured the condition is true. हमने पहले wish को y से initialize किया है. We go inside. We ask user to enter the integer. User enters the first integer as 3. We ask user to enter the next integer. User enters next integer as 4. So then we display the result. 3 plus 4 is 7. Then we ask user, do you want to continue? And user says yes. Yes. He goes inside. Is yes in yes or y? Yeah, that's true. Then we ask user to enter the integer. User enters next integer as 30. We ask user to enter another integer. User enters next integer as 2. Sorry, not here. I should enter over here. User enters next integer as 2. Then we display the addition of two integers. 330 plus 2 is 32. And then we ask user, do you want to continue? I said, no, I don't want to continue. Is n in y or yes? No, condition is false. We come to else part. Note कीजिएगा, हम लोग कहाँ गए? So when this condition becomes false, we are coming to the else part and we are going to print the end. Note कीजिएगा, syntax बता रहा हूँ सिर्फ, use case नहीं है. Just look at the syntax. अभी यहाँ else में आ गए. Why did we come to this else? Because this condition was false. How did this condition become false? Because wish now has a value called as n. And is n present in this list? No, n is not present in the list. So this membership test has failed because uppercase of n, that is capital N, is not present inside this list. Why or why? इसमें नहीं, condition is false. So this is normal termination of the program for the condition by condition becoming false. So in that case, we have to go to else part. Else में हमने print किया the end. Can you note this? The end print कर लिया, and then we say the program is over. This program is over is anyway the last statement in the program that has nothing to do with the loop. But this statement definitely has to do something with the loop. Now I could have solved the same example in a completely different way. Just check by using, just understand the syntax. I repeat again, this is just to help you understand the syntax and nothing more. Here we go. Now I'm going to use break statement to carry out similar kind of operation. And I'm going to use infinite loop for that purpose. Here I go. I say while true, it's infinite. True will never become false. So if infinite loop, then how will the program get terminated? Suppose if I had taken such an infinite loop, अगर ऐसा infinite loop लिया ही होता गलती से यार, then you are in a trouble. अगर दो integer आप accept कर रहे हो, then you are printing the addition of two numbers, and then you are saying, do you want to continue? और आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. Okay, you will go back. True. This true is always true. This will become infinite loop. You will never come out of this loop. Let's run this code and see. Look at this. Enter the first integer. मैंने कहा 12. Second integer मैंने कहा 3. Do you want to continue? मैंने कहा yes. Okay, अभी तो अच्छा लग रहा है. 34 plus 5 that is 39. Do you want to continue? मैं कह रहा no. अरे तब भी accept ही कर रहा है. मैंने कहा no, big no. तब भी accept कर रहा है. अरे because the condition is it's like you are saying while true, that's always true. There is no way to terminate this loop. Okay, now we are in a problem. So let me just interrupt this particular code by saying Control C. That will stop the program. Complete the program has stopped. Instead, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to introduce this statement. I'm saying if wish dot upper not in y or y, and आपने जो enter किया value है, if it is not present in this list, then I'm going to say break, and I stop this loop, come out of the loop. If the input that you are given is not is either of this, if it is not either of this, I'm going to say break. Okay, and in that case, the end will not get executed. Okay, that's what we want to understand. Just to see the syntax, watch it now. I debug this code once again from line number 25. Isn't debugging very easy in this case? Okay, and something has gone wrong. I think I did not save the code. Let me save the file before I debug. Here I go. I've saved the file now, and let's start debugging. I'll have to start with a new terminal, and let's start debugging. Here you go. Please enter the first integer. Where we are? Okay, I cannot see where we are. Anyway, let me enter the first integer. I say 3. Please enter the second integer. I say 5. Do you want to continue? 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Do you want to continue? Why can't I debug the code? I say no, I don't want to continue. क्या बात है? Here I go. I'll debug the program from here. It's infinite, ना? तो वहां से नहीं कर रहा था debug. तो ये code कहीं अंदर से debug है. Let's start debugging from here. Now we can. So it says we are on line number 26 now, and we are debugging the code. It says please enter the first integer. I say 10. Then we are at line number 27. Can you see this arrow on the left hand side? Then I enter the second integer. That's 2. So 10 plus 2 is 12. The result has been displayed. It asks us, do you want to continue? मैंने कहा, yes, I want to continue. I say, why yes in small case? But we are converting that small case to uppercase. And I'm saying yes, not in yes or why? Yes is present. So condition is false. Condition false. So the under nahi gaye. Here we go. Infinite loop hai. We'll again continue. Enter the second integer. First integer, I enter 4. Please enter the next integer. I enter 44. Or I enter 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. This time around, I have been asked, do you want to continue? I say, no, I do not want to continue. So is no not in yes or why? No is not in yes or why? True, it is not there. Look where the control goes. It goes to break. And see when break gets executed, else will not get executed. Directly jump to line number 35. See, line number 35. So the else part of the loop, while loop, gets executed only if the looping condition becomes false. If I say break, the else part of the loop is skipped and control is transferred to the next statement after the loop. Have you all understood the syntax part of it? Quick feedback.
Yes, sir.
Vikrant, क्या doubt है? Vikrant, what's the doubt?
No, sir.
Why should it take so long to respond? इसका मतलब ध्यान नहीं दे रहे आप. Let's continue. Now let's look at a use case. These were not use cases. This was just to understand the syntax. Now that you understood the syntax, let's take one use case. Now scenario is, look, when you're trying to log into your log into your mail, what happens? Can you make an attempt infinite number of times? Yes, Gmail पे जब login करते हैं, and you keep on getting the password right. No, you get some number of attempts. 2-3 attempts. Then it says recovery, and then it says your account has been blocked for 24 hours or something like that. Try after 24 hours. ऐसा कुछ message देता है. So we would also like to do the same thing. What we would like to do is, I would like you to guess the prime password. अगर आपने सही password enter किया 3 attempt में, तो I would like to continue. अगर आपने password गलत दे दिया 3 बार, तो I'll say आपके पास और choice नहीं है. You are not left with any more attempts to carry out this operation, to enter or to log in. It's just a simple use case. So let's run the program. So I say, and you can make a guess. Say Python while break. Prithviraj, guess the password. Prithviraj, screen लगा के चले गए क्या? Prithviraj, are you there? ये देखो, ये नए skills है. You put on your camera and you feel like I cannot figure out whether आप हो या ना हो. ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. Okay, it's like I can figure out whether you have put an image or whether you are actually there. Okay, So that's a bad thing to do. Q Prithviraj, where were you? Yes, Prithviraj. Are you there? Okay. Okay,
Sir, he
Ashish.
might be having some network issue.
No network issue. I can immediately figure out वो image है या video है. अगर image, why did I call his name? वो image आ जाता है या नहीं, सिर्फ still image है, तो obviously the person is not there in the classroom.
Okay.
आशीष चलो guess करो password.
1 2 3 4.
1 2 3 4, that's the most common password. You got it wrong. और बोलो, कुछ भी बोलो, वैसे भी क्या मालूम. हाँ.
1 2 3 4 5 6.
1 2 3 4 5 6, that's another password. You still got it wrong.
A B C D.
A B C D E, that's another very commonly password. A B C D E, and still wrong. And you are not left with any more attempts to log in. Let me show you the passwords that we have. अब तो guess करेंगे. देखो अपने ये passwords है possible में. Lion@123, Lovely है, Sky है, Samosa है, Apple है. Suppose these are my passwords. Now that you know what are the possible passwords that we have, अब तो guess कर पाओगे? आशीष,
Yes sir.
करो guess.
Sky.
क्या?
Sky. SKY.
Okay, Sky. It was SKY. You got it wrong.
Samosa.
Samosa. Not the right time to have samosa. You got it right. Okay, so what has happened is you are welcome. You got it right. You can log in. Everything can happen. But the point is, look at the two cases. Here you went on doing the operation, but since your attempts were exhausted, you couldn't log in. Actually, you could use this similar construct in your login application as well. When you're creating a login application, similar kind of design you can end up using. And when you exhaust with all your attempts, then we're going to come out. But the point is, sorry, you're not left with any more attempts. This statement was executed when all your attempts failed. Can you see that? Sorry, you're not left with any more attempts. 3 attempts के बाद. Here, when you got your password right, that did not get executed. That means if this condition becomes false, ये क्या है? Let me just now explain this particular code. We have imported for random and random.choice. Random.choice, ये जो भी आपकी list रहेगी, it will randomly select one element out of it. Any you can give set, list, tuple, whatever it is. So whatever is a collection that we give, we have seen random.choice earlier as well. So random.choice will just select one of the elements from this particular collection. It can be set, list, tuple, कुछ भी दे दो, उसमें से एक element select करेगा. String दे दो, that is also okay. But here I have given list of strings, so strings देगा. So one of the password will be taken out of these 5 passwords that I have written here. One of the password will be randomly chosen, random.choice. It will randomly choose one of the element from the sequence. ये आपकी collection है उसमें से. I have number of attempts. Initially, I have set it as 1. Max attempts आपके पास 3 है, तो you have maximum 3 attempts. And I say if number of attempts less than equal to max attempt, आपके पास 3 attempt है, तो 1 is less than equal to 3. Yes, so you are asked to enter the password. Then we check is the password that you have entered and the original password. If they are right, we say yeah, you got it right, and we say break. The break will not continue the rest of the statements. But if you don't get any path, 3 attempt में आपने एक बार भी पासवर्ड सही नहीं गेस कर लिया, तो हर बार आपको सॉरी कहेगा. Like what had happened with आकाश आशीष right now. सॉरी कहा एक बार, फिर एक बार सॉरी कहा था, फिर एक बार सॉरी कहा था. For every attempt, say sorry, you got it wrong, and to reduce the number of attempts or increase the number of attempts. कि 1 हो गया, 2 हो गया, 3 हो गया, condition is false. So let's now trace this particular code to understand the behavior, how it works. Okay, and now since we are debugging, we'll already know the password. Can you see this password here? Sky, SKY, debugger में. Can you see it over here, everybody?
Yes.
Yes sir.
That's the good part of debugger. That means all cases we can manage. अब number of attempts फिलहाल 1 है, max attempts 3 है. Okay, and this is your password list. और password उसने select किया है Sky, one of these. Now we check is number of attempts less than max attempt. अभी number of attempts फिलहाल 3 है, 1 है, max attempt 3 है, तो 1 less than 3 condition is true. We go inside. We ask user to enter the password, and user says password is suppose butter. Okay, he enters something. Now we check is butter is equal to Sky, condition is false. So we go to else part. It says sorry, you got it wrong. Number of attempts 2 हो जाएंगे. Look at the number of attempts 2. Is 2 less than equal to 3? Yes. Second attempt आपका. You guess the password. I say the password is suppose tiger. It says tiger equal to sky, condition is false. It go to else part. So it says sorry, you got it wrong again. But number of attempts अभी 3. तीसरा और आखिरी attempt है. Is 3 less than or equal to 3? Yes. We are asked to enter the password once again. This time you say lion @ or lion exclamation mark 1 2 3. ऐसा password है. Is lion exclamation 1 2 3 equal to sky? Condition is false. You go to else part. Sorry, you got it wrong. Number of attempts अभी आपके 4 बन जाएंगे. Is 4 less than or 3? Condition is false. Watch it. अब ये loop condition false हुआ है. Then only we'll go to else part. देखो else में आए थे हम लोग और यहाँ प्रिंट किया sorry you are left with no more attempts. ये else statement has got executed. Sorry you are left with no more attempts. ये यहाँ exit हो गया and then we say that's all. That was one case. Let's look at other cases. This time around the password is samosa and then we check number of attempts 1 less than or equal to 3. Yes. We go inside. We ask user to enter the password. User luckily enters the password the very first time. SAMOSA. अब samosa is equal to samosa. Condition true है. So we have printed. You got it right. अब password सही आने पर do you want to still ask him और एक बार password दे और एक बार password दे. Now if he has entered the right password, why do you want to ask the password once again anymore now? Since he has get the right password, so I say break. Now break will transfer the control out of the entire loop construct to line number 31 directly. Again, else has been skipped. Got it, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sharing this particular 2 codes with you, and one is the syntax, another is this example that we have just now taken. एक break था _1, एक password वाला और एक while break का एक syntax वाला. So and while pass also. So I have shared all the 3 examples with you. Sorry, I shared only with Akash. It looks like. Let me share with all of you. Have you got it, everybody? ना कुछ तो बोलो.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that you have got it, okay. ये max password का था. Max number of attempts के लिए हमने किया था. Now we'll take one example where probably we can use this and giving you what do you say? An assignment. Assignments a problem to solve right now, and hopefully you can check whether this construct can be used. The break statement can be used. I'll break you into the groups, and then in the group you can actually go ahead deciding how to use this particular, how to solve this particular problem. So let's take a question. The question is simple and straightforward. Accept integer and check whether it's prime. Accept an integer and check whether it's prime. I think that was one of the assignments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. अब दोबारा solve करो and think about scenario where we can use this particular construct. And hold on, I'm going to break you into breakout rooms. So we'll have 3 rooms. So when you are into the rooms, make sure that you discuss. Turn on your cameras. Blank screen के साथ कोई discussion नहीं होता है. Everybody should turn on the camera, discuss, participate in the discussion, and then go about solving the assignment. So I'm automatically creating a group. So we're gonna have 3 to 4 participants in every group, and almost all group has 4 participants, and only one group has 3 participants. So rooms are open, and you have 10 minutes to solve this example. Please join the rooms. Vikrant, join the room. Piyusha, Prithviraj, join the rooms. आपकी जिंदगी में आपको जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी शायद ये लिखने की. But while you solve this particular assignment, जो construct आप use कर रहे हो, you will require it throughout your life. That means you need to know where to use this break statement correctly. It's more about understanding these constructs which are available in the language so that you can use them in various combination wherever it is required. So these are typical kind of questions you'll find in every course. They are just to build your understanding about that particular topic, about that construct. Once you understand it, so tomorrow you may have another problem, but that other problem will also demand that we need to use this construct. So it's all about building your confidence, nothing more. And you never know what question will be asked in interview or what next assignment you'll get within your company. Who knows? It could be a routine thing every day, or it could be new statement every day. No one knows.
Okay, sir.
So all of them are very relevant. My point is.
सर यह इस पाइथन कोर्स में वो डेटा साइंस वाला पार्ट है क्या, वो पांडास वगैरह लाइब्रेरी वाले?
वो लाइब्रेरीज को इंट्रोडक्शन है, वो आपको यूज करना है. इट्स नॉट अबाउट डेटा साइंस कोर्स, बट आई विल डेफिनेटली इंट्रोड्यूस यू कौन कौन से लाइब्रेरीज है जो आपको एक्सप्लोर करना है, उसका मटेरियल क्या है, दैट आई विल बी शेयरिंग विद यू. हाउ टू यूज दोस लाइब्रेरीज इन पाइथन, हाउ टू इंटीग्रेट देम इन पाइथन, दैट इज व्हाट आई विल शो यू. रेस्ट इज फॉर यू टू एक्सप्लोर. उसमें से एक आध दो फंक्शन यूज करके दिखाऊंगा. Then you have to explore those functions wherever the application is. But I definitely show you how to incorporate them into Python. Python में कैसे लाना है. I have stopped the breakout room. It will take 1 minute for them to wind up. Okay. So everybody submit your assignment. I see only Ashish's assignment coming up. And then what I see is Rahul's assignment that has come up. So we got 2 assignments. Third group has not submitted the assignment. तीसरे टीम ने नहीं किया solve.
हर्ष ने किया.
Harsh,
एक सेकंड सर, जैसा एक
this question we had solved it ना, लॉजिक में हमने ये सॉल्व किया हुआ है अलग अलग तरीके से, अगर आपको याद है तो. Okay, let's look at Ashish's submission. Ashish and his team 1 says input series from typing input final, input enter positive integer. Okay, this is not a very good idea, Ashish. This is like negative logic. So let me just take this particular code over here. क्या प्रोग्राम का नाम है? फाइल का नाम क्या आपके? prime.py. Equals slash prime. Okay. Is the screen visible, everybody?
Yes, sir.
He says if not digit and int greater than 0, तो it not int greater than 0 इसका मतलब हो गया. तो use of such complex condition is just not recommended. कि वो digit नहीं है ठीक है. Not के साथ and use करना and these brackets it's gonna this is okay to read if not digits, understandable. And
Sir,
int
notepad ಹಾಕೋದಾ ಅದು?
नहीं.
Sir, notepad ಇಸ್ತದೆ.
Now
Yes, sir. ಅದು spider ಇಸ್ತದೆ. Yes.
okay. If not num dot digit and int greater than 0, that means this particular condition has to be solved first. ये पूरा bracket पहले solve करना होगा. इसका आंसर अगर true आता है तो उसको not करना होगा. It's quite confusing. Although this statement currently over here may be right, but you should avoid using with not and or conditions. It'll only lead to confusion because people tend to read the first part and int greater than 0. ये अलग लगेगा. Although you have correctly used the brackets, just avoid doing this. So how could you design this particular statement? तो आपको दो चीजें चाहिए थी. It should be positive integer, it should be digit as well. What is the number? उसका int part should be greater than 0. अगर नहीं है तो error देना है. Okay. तो you could just say if not num digits, तभी यह आना है. And int less than equal to 0, तभी यह आना है. Will this not work? Ashish?
Sir, it will.
If it is not a digit and तो ये not a digit रहेगा तो and तो check करेगा नहीं, short circuit evaluation. So if the first condition is false, whatever comes after and will not be even checked out. समझो digits है, but int of num is less than 0, तो invalid input. तो why to use that combination of and not? So ये combination नहीं है अभी. This is a separate statement. This is one condition. And this is another condition. Just by checking greater than की जगह less than कर दिया, that problem will be taken care of. And then you're converting into number. Okay. Integer convert कर रहे. And then you said max factor is final int equal to. Okay. Now this is actually not a final variable. This is not definitely a max factor. Max factor. It's not a constant at compile time. So use this particular final concept. If you're going to have a constant which is identified at compile time, not at runtime. Why am I saying runtime? Because first time when I run the program, my input number may be 7. Next time I run my program, my input number may be 100. That means this max factor's value will change every time you run the program. Max factor. So this is a runtime constant, not compile time constant. So use this concept of final only for those variables whose value is fixed at compile time, not at runtime. So don't use constant final variables for runtime constant. Use for compile time constant. Before you run the program with the values known, only then go ahead using constant. So I replace this with small case construct. I will call this as max factor. And I will not call it as constant. Here we go. And so I don't need final. Then we have taken counter as 2, that's correct. If num is 1, 1 is neither prime or not composite, okay. Else में चले, while counter less equal to max factor, okay. You come from C background, so you have a habit of using those parentheses. Python people don't use it. And I see it everywhere, even if I can see over here. अगर यहाँ use करना ही था, तो यहाँ use करो. Because that's an expression. So use it only for expressions. Python people type less. तो अभी less type करो. We are checking if num or counter equals 0, num is not a prime and break. Oh, that's correct use of break statement. That means if you find a factor, you're just going to terminate the loop and you're going to come out. If it's not a factor, they're going to increment the counter and this will go to the max factor. Max factor is num divided by 2. So you're assuming that the largest factor of any number other than the number itself is half of the number. That's what your assumption is, T1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then counter is equal to counter plus 1. If this loop terminates normally, that means you do not find a factor of a number till half of that number. Then you'll come to the else part and say, the number is fine. That means your logic says divide the number by all numbers in the range of 2 to n by 2. Correct? If n is any value, n by 2 tak. If no number divides it completely, then it's prime. That's the logic?
Yes.
Okay. And that is a correct logic to work with, but probably not the efficient one, but definitely correct one. So we have been asked to enter number. I enter number like 13. You got 13 is prime. Great. But at the same time, if I enter number like 1331, here said 1331 is not prime. Now, even to know 1331 is not prime, let's print over here the value of counter. Let's print the value of variable counter later in the program. So we'll know how many conditions did it check to get the final answer.
सर वो वेरिएबल विंडो में दिख रहा है ना.
हम लोग प्रिंट भी करेंगे. As a number of iteration counter. We are in this code. We have been asked to enter a positive integer. I enter a positive integer as 13391. It says 7 iteration के बाद पता चला कि number is not prime. Okay, let's run the program for some more time. I say 13311, and here after 3 iterations itself we have identified the number is not prime. Number is not prime. That was good. Let's take some other number 100001, and after 11 iterations we identified the number is not prime. Let's take a smaller number 10003. That's 10,003. So for 10,003, it took 7 iterations to identify the number is not prime. It was 10,003. Yeah? Let me run the code once again because I want to show you some case. 10013. So 17 iterations के बाद पता चला है the number is not prime. 17 iteration, 10013. But I want to take a prime number which is near to 10013. So I suppose if I say 10011, so that's 10,011. 3 iterations. I need to take one number 10031. Not prime. 13 के बाद जोड़ लेते हैं. This was good example. चलो 10,013 के लिए you took 17 iterations to identify the number is not prime. I want to check for a prime number actually. Let's have a list of one of the largest prime number. Let us see some large prime numbers. So I'll just do a Google search to see list of prime numbers. So we'll take any one of these. Let's take one of the largest one. यहाँ लेते हैं 7727. That's the prime number. और इस लिस्ट में से आखिरी वाला कौन सा है? So 7883. That's the prime number. Let's take this number. You may be wondering why am I doing that? Because I want to put across some case to you. 7883 was a prime number. So I run this particular code. I have been asked to enter the number and I enter 7883. Okay, are you sure? I run the code. I put the number 7883. What is that has gone wrong? Line number 5. Digit. See the error. It's not accepting the number. क्या बात है?
सर का डबल का आ रहा था
No,
कंपेरेबल
no, it's not about that. It's about whether my numeric keypad is on or not. I was typing it using my numeric keypad. So a lot of times it so happens if numeric keypad is off, it has taken only enter as the input. So इसलिए adjust करने तो मुझे पहले. We run the code once again. Now my numeric keypad probably is on. Keyboard off है. चलो 788 कितने iterations लिए इसने to find out whether number is prime? 3942 iterations. यानी इतनी बार ये loop run हुआ है, and every time I check for this condition is checked for 39942. That's half of this number. And उसके बाद हमें पता चला है कि ये number prime नहीं है. That means you have divided this number by all numbers in the range of 2 to 3941. यानी 2941 condition check किया because 2 से start करें, 1 count नहीं कर रहे आप. And after that, you have reached a conclusion that number is prime. Okay, but good thing is the solution is correct, if not best. Solution is correct though. Okay, so we have one correct solution with us, and this is the correct use of break as well. And what else? What improvement could have been done even further? Look at this. Aren't you wasting your time performing or creating these two variables? ये काम करने में अपना टाइम वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे क्या? नम अगर 1 है तो नंबर इज नाइदर कंपोजिट और प्राइम. देन व्हाई डिड यू वेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग दीस टू ऑपरेशन? इन दो ऑपरेशन का कोई मतलब है कि इन दैट केस? यस विराज, आशीष, कौन था और आपके ग्रुप में?
नो सर.
नहीं ना. ये दो स्टेटमेंट कब करने चाहिए आपको?
सर जब वो 1 से बड़ा हो.
So these two statements, this is how you are improving the quality of your code. Probably यहाँ आने चाहिए थे. Otherwise, they are unnecessary. We unnecessarily created two variables when you are not going to even think about using those variables. So int में convert किया till here it is okay. If the number is 1, it is neither prime or composite. And if it is not 1, it's some other number greater than 1, then you would rather proceed with these operations. So these two statements will come over here. So that's improvement that we have brought about in this particular code. Let's look at the other solution that was submitted. That was prime assignment. Okay. If not num dot digit and eval number greater than 0. Okay. Eval num limit is equal to num divided by 2. Gone wrong. You should always take integer division. This will give floating point value. So it should have an integer division. Where 7 divided by 2 will get 2.5, and 7 integer divided by 2 will give you answer only as 3, like what we do here. See this? 7 divided by 2. Do you want floating point value? No. You want to check only till 3. That will say 7 divided by 2. That will give me only 3. So integer division करना था. Floating point नहीं. तो double equal. Then divisor is 2. Num limit less than equal to limit. अरे ये गलत है. ये इनकम्प्लीट है. तो नंबर प्राइम है ये बता रहे हो. नंबर प्राइम नहीं है ये कौन बताएगा? तो if I run this particular code, if I enter number 7, you're saying nothing, blank, while 7 is the prime number. If I enter 12, here nothing. या तो इनपुट ही नहीं आ रहा है कुछ. Enter a positive 12, no input, no output. I enter another number like 44, no output. क्या बात है? कुछ और करना चाहते थे क्या? I enter a prime number, say 59, no output. So prime or no prime, this statement is not getting executed. You get a num mod divisor not equal to 0. क्या बात है? Your number is prime. ये एकदम गलत आइडिया है. देखिए ना, if a number is suppose 11 or 9 and divisor is 2, so 9 mod 2 not equal to 0, yes. So given number prime है क्या? But second question is the control is not even coming over here, and we need to identify why is it so happening. Why is this control not even coming over here? Let's debug this particular code to understand that particular behavior. we are at this line. We have been asked to enter positive number. I enter number like say 12. And we say eval of that number. We got 12. 6 आ गया. Num divided by 2 less than equal to limit. Yes.
सर वो num while की कंडीशन.
एक मिनट. ये आपके प्रोग्राम में क्यों जा रहा है? कौन सा क्या था? कहाँ गया इनका पॉइंट?
Time assignment.
क्या कह रहे हैं?
while की कंडीशन सर. num is less than num by 2.
लेस देन इक्वल लिमिट. तो लिमिट नंबर बाय 2 है उनका. हाँ, वो तो कंडीशन कभी फॉल्स होगा ही नहीं. इट्स वेरी करेक्ट. नम आपका 100 है.
नहीं सर, हमेशा फॉल्स हो.
हमें वही तो ना, कभी ट्रू होगा ही नहीं. तो
Yes.
अगर आपका लिमिट 50 है, 100 लेस देन 50 है, क्या कंडीशन इज फॉल्स, अंदर जाएगा ही नहीं. सो दिस वाज नॉट द राइट स्टेटमेंट. एनीबॉडी एल्स हु हैज सबमिटेड? अदर टीम? So Harsh has also submitted the code. Let's have a look at his code. Team 3, the last one to submit the code. Okay. Let's open it in the Spider itself. Enter a number to check whether it's prime or not. Good. Not digit, it's not prime. Negative number रहेगा तो क्या? वो validation is missing. Then you take integer, you say check 0. Check is equal to 0. What is this check? Yes.
flag equal to करतो ना तसं
But
केलेलं.
check से क्या मतलब है? How do you identify? How does one, if I'm not the one who's writing this code, if I'm just going to check this code, तो मुझे check का मतलब क्या पता चलेगा? If you're going to say flag, say is prime है क्या, not prime है क्या, something, some variable name. तो ये कौन था? कौस्तुभ और हर्ष, और कौन था तीसरा? अरे कौन थे इस टीम में? कौस्तुभ, हर्ष है. Who was the third one?
सर मी हर्ष आणि साईराम.
तुम्ही हर्ष and Sairam. Okay. So that was not the best name to use. Number तो ले लिया. I would, अगर ये use करना ही था ना, तो I could have said is prime and उसको 10 नहीं store करेंगे. 10 is a C concept. Well, Python gives you true or false. I could just say true. So I could, instead of check, I would have said is prime. Initially मैं इसे 0 की जगह false initialize कर लेता, अगर ये use करना है तो. और यहाँ कह देता रिमाइंडर अगर 0 है, इनपुट नंबर इज नॉट प्राइम, तो चेक इज इक्वल टू 1. क्या बात है? इनपुट नंबर इज नॉट प्राइम मैसेज प्रिंट करेंगे, फिर चेक इक्वल टू 1 कहेंगे और ब्रेक करेंगे. ये लॉजिकली गलत था. तो एक्चुअली ऐसा करना चाहिए था, इज प्राइम फॉल्स है, इनिशियल ट्रू रखना चाहिए था, जो ट्रू रखा, और यहाँ उसको फॉल्स कर दिया. और यहाँ लिख दिया if is prime equal to 2, the number is prime. ऐसा कुछ कर सकते थे. और ये I equal to I plus 1, ये I क्या है? Okay, I is some value 2. Okay, I is less than math the square root of number. Oh, that's a very good improvement that you have brought about, because if I take square root of the number, this program will run much faster. So, but instead of carrying out this operation every time, I could have taken a variable called as limit is equal to this, because I do not want to spend my time for every iteration finding out what's the square root of the number. So here I'll say limit. So I'll say I less than limit, remainder is equal to remainder mod 10. तो remainder equal to 0 अगर है, तो ये remainder variable introduce करने की जगह you could have just used this statement here. अगर I mod this and अगर आपको चाहिए तो एक एक्सप्रेशन है, तो उसे चाहे तो ब्रैकेट में डाल दीजिएगा. num mod I equal to 0 है, अगर है the number is not prime, is prime is false, और break करके loop में से बाहर आएंगे. So this if will terminate the loop. Otherwise, else तो है ना आपका. So you could say else or you could directly say that. You could very well say else I is equal to I plus 1. ऐसा भी कर सकते थे. Avoid using shortcut. मैंने पहले भी कहा था. I'd rather say I is equal to I plus 1. Avoid those shorthand operators because they make the code difficult to read. I is equal to I plus 1. Now, other than validation, this program looks correct. Let's check. I enter number like 13. It says number is prime. I enter number like 14. It says the number is not prime. But why am I saying this is better than the previous one? Because if I take the same number 7883, that is the number. It took us 3,900 iteration. In this case, let's see how many iteration it takes. We want to print the value of I. So I'll just say over here, print number of iterations. I print just to check. I run this particular code and I take the same prime number 7883 and number of iterations are only 89. कहा 3,900 iterations और कहा 89 instructions. This is 4 times faster than the previous one. That's because when you talk about prime numbers, even if I take square root of the number, if the given number is not divisible by any number in the range of 2 to square root of the number, that's good enough. So this was a good addition to that particular code that you could have done. And then you all have correctly used break. Because after 89th iteration, you realize this condition is false. Oh, तो ये जो आप कर रहे हैं ना else true false, इसकी तो आपको जरूरत ही नहीं थी. What Ashish had done, same thing could do. Let's get rid of this is false वगैरह ना, ये सारा हटा ही देते हैं, break रख देते हैं. ये जो is prime का concept हटा ही देते हैं. Okay, तो if ये आपके पास else है और ये while का else है, तो इस else में डाल दो ना. That means if this condition is false, we'll come here and we'll say the number is prime. Break की वजह से बाहर आए, the number is not prime. ये आप कह चुके हो already. तो आपको इस स्टेटमेंट की जरूरत ही नहीं है, इसकी भी कोई जरूरत नहीं है. ब्रेक करके सिर्फ बाहर आ जाओ. तो if you find a factor, we'll say the number is not prime and we'll break, we'll stop the loop. If I don't find a factor, I'll continue. If I have gone finding till square root of the number, then and if no factor is found till that time, then the input number is prime. So this is how you could bring about वो choice या is prime की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं थी. Let's run this particular code and see whether it works correctly or not. I enter 12, it says number is not prime. I enter 13 and it says number is prime. So it's working right. I enter number like 7, what we had just now seen, 7883 and it says the number is prime. So that's how you could have brought about the changes to do that validation part. But this was the magic. Divide by that number by all numbers in the range of 2 to square root of the number. And if I don't find a factor, here we are finding the factor. If I don't find a factor, then that number is prime. Else, and ये अगर condition false हो गया, that means till the square root of the number you did not find any factor, then the number is prime. And if you find any factor, the number is not prime, you don't want to continue further, break will terminate the loop and it will come out. So this was a good addition. While both of them are right, this is far better than the other one. I'm just sharing both these codes with you just to see different approaches that we can end up using with all the changes that we have done. Have you all received it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
अब इसका एक वेरिएशन करते हैं. And variation is तो हमें और एक construct discuss करना था that we did not discuss actually today. And we'll take it up day after tomorrow. We will not be meeting tomorrow. We will be meeting day after tomorrow. But एक question देता हूँ and I expect you not to Google out for the answer. Huh? So take 2 questions, make a serious attempt to solve it. कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है इसके लिए गूगल कर सकते हैं, लॉजिक देखने के लिए मत कीजिएगा, लॉजिक आपका चाहिए. I'll give problems which are related to each other. यानी पहला solve करोगे तो ही दूसरा आएगा, kind of thing. पहला नहीं आया तो you will not get the second one. So don't even attempt if you don't get the first one. You should try, you should get it, but it's all based. The first question is accept integer and print its factors. Accept integer and print its factors. अभी कई प्रॉब्लम से सॉल्व हो जाएगा वो तो. Accept integer and print its factors. और दूसरा क्वेश्चन है accept integer and print its prime factors.
और ये पूछा
Accept integer and print its prime factor. प्राइम फैक्टर मतलब वो नंबर जो उसका फैक्टर है, गिवन नंबर. समझो नंबर 15 है, 15 का फैक्टर 3 है, 3 इज प्राइम. 15 फैक्टर 5 है, 5 इज प्राइम. ओके, बट समझो नंबर 20 है, 20 का फैक्टर 2 है, 2 इज प्राइम. बट 20 का फैक्टर 10 भी है, 10 इज नॉट प्राइम. तो यू आर ओनली गोना प्रिंट द प्राइम फैक्टर्स. ओके,
ये फॅक्टोरियल नंबर असेल तर काढायचं.
नहीं, फैक्टर्स विच आर प्राइम.
ओके
Okay, so if the factor is a prime number, then you should print it. Accept integer and print its prime factors. That's what the question is. जो भी नंबर उसके प्राइम फैक्टर्स आपको प्रिंट करना है.
सर दोनों का एक ही प्रोग्राम चाहिए.
नहीं नहीं, दो अलग प्रोग्राम.
Okay.
दो अलग प्रोग्राम. एक और एक क्वेश्चन देता हूँ, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन.
पहिला क्वेश्चन काय होता?
First was accept integer and print its factors.
ओके
Okay. There was one Indian scientist. I'm just trying to recollect his name. Yeah, he has a credit of finding up some weird kind of sequences, and there are some magical values that he has come up with. But somehow, Tarapade, just give me a second. I'm trying to recollect his name. So I'll give you some interesting values from that Indian scientist. Just give me a second. Let me just Google. He's Mr. Karpekar, a mathematician called as Karpekar, who was, I'll just show you his page. I was just trying to recollect his name. For some reason, I forgot. Kaprekar, not Karpekar, Kaprekar, 1986. He was a recreational mathematician. So he's credited with coming up, identifying some very interesting properties. It was kind of interesting value that he had identified was like Harshad's value. So what is this Harshad's value? Let's jump out to this Harshad's value. What does it say? It says in mathematics, Harshad's number or Navin number or Niven number, Marathi probably, is a given number, is a given base number integer that is divided by sum of its digits when that's written as a base. Okay, now it's better that we look at a simple example to understand. We'll take some simple value. Stated mathematically, x is positive, or let's take a simpler definition for this number. Let's have, here it goes. It says, giving joy. These are defined by the property that they are divisible by sum of the digits. यानी हर्षद नंबर कैसा है? A number which is divisible by sum of its digits. जैसे नंबर 12 which is divisible by 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 क्या है? 3. And 3 से वो number divisible है. So this is good enough definition for you to understand. Okay. So number, I check whether number is divisible by sum of its digits. Okay. So हर्षद number आपको चाहिए. So I'm just sharing this link with you all. ये पूरा ही या लिंक ही शेयर करता हूँ कापरेकर का. So I hope you have got the link, everybody. So you are going to check whether the number is Harshad number. Okay, accept integer, check whether it's Harshad's number. And we'll continue with his discussion to find out better way to I'm just trying to find out a simpler one. तो पहला एक हर्षद नंबर फाइंड करना, एक्सेप्ट इंटीजर चेक विद इट्स हर्षद नंबर, हर्षद इंटीजर. What this as well? It says Deolali or self number. So the integer that cannot be generated by taking some other number and adding its own digits to it. कैसे? अगर 21 की बात कर रहे हैं, 21 can be generated by taking generated from 15 plus 1 plus 5. Okay, so if you take number 15, 15 plus 1 plus 5, you can get 21. But 20 ले रहे, तो 20 को कोई और दो numbers के digits add करके you cannot generate 20. So try these two numbers. Accept number and check whether it's a self number or Deolali's number, and find for the Harshad number. So I want you to spend some time solving these two examples. It's going to be a nice assignment for you. So Deolali's number and Harshad number. So these are two assignments. I would rather expect you all to meet, discuss, and then solve these two assignments. Baki to simple tha wo pehla. But a Harshad number or Deolali number, do a research, see what is the self number. It's also called as Colombian number. So do a bit of reading over here, what has been given. Don't get bogged down. Just see the basic idea what it says. Okay, and then try and solve it. Okay, so I would rather expect kal agar ho sake to aap meet karo, see what is Harshad's number, see what is Deolali's number, and make an attempt to solve it. It is more like a project for you to solve. So it could test your understanding, the designing. And if you want to make it simple, initially do it. That means पहले 1000 में से ही find करेंगे. Let's keep the scope lesser, and then generalize the code. It should work for any number. ऐसा भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. Okay, so Harshad and Deolali number. Okay, so Professor Kaprekar, and you can read his article that I shared with you. You'll find very interesting things that he has identified. Even while traveling through train, he identified something. So you can just see how he made mathematics all fun. We can watch and read about Professor Kaprekar as well. And he was in our times. Our means mere samay mein bhi the. 1986, not a very old story, probably just a decade before you all were born. Okay, so read about it and he'll see his contribution. You'll find his concepts being used at number of places, even academics and everywhere. So work with Kaprekar, Professor Kaprekar. So 4 assignments for you. एक था accept number and print its factors. दूसरा है accept a number and print its prime factors. और दूसरा Harshad number and self number. 4. So ये 4 assignments है. Take your time, discuss और फिर solve करो. So any question regarding what we discussed today, break और उसमें कोई doubt है कि किसी को? No? So on that note, we'll stop here today. We meet day after tomorrow. Tomorrow you can spend some time solving these assignments. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.